So you own a business, have an event you want people to know about. You want to spread the word to as many people as possible that your product or service exists. Call AdWorks International. AdWorks is an advertising agency which utilizes professionals in radio, television, and print advertising to help you get your company's message across. Your ad will be noticed by more people more quickly. AdWorks from concept to completion will deliver an ad that works. AdWorks International. Call 416-832-7293.
Jazz Supermarket in Brampton is the preferred place to shop for all your Caribbean grocery needs. You are guaranteed fresh fruits and vegetables as shipments arrive twice a week. Whether you're sending a barrel, money, or just need to find a certain ingredient to get that back home taste, Jazz Supermarket has it all. You can even stock up with poultry or meat from the halal meat counter, CDs, gift items, or fresh bread and pastries from the bakery. Caribbean jewelry and ready-made casual clothing now available. Come visit Jazz Supermarket, 9025 Torbram Road at the corner of Queen and Torbram in Brampton, where friendly service awaits you.
Twilight Family Restaurant and Bar is Scarborough's largest West Indian family restaurant. Come and sample our delicious appetizers like our chicken wings, black pudding, and spicy shrimp. Great entrees such as chili chicken and Twilight Spicy Chicken. Give us a call at 416-754-6894. Twilight Restaurant and Bar, serving the best in Guyanese Chinese cuisine for the past 8 years.
When thinking of shipping a barrel, box, or sending money back home, think of the name you can trust. Think Lepakan. Lepakan has been serving our community for over 25 years, and a significant portion of every dollar spent at Lepakan goes to work in our community, here and back home. Together, we are making a difference. For your shipping and money transfer needs, call Lepakan 416-292-4370. Lepakan, the name we can trust.
Well, we're here with coming up with a gospel song, and I'd like to dedicate this to my friend Jacqueline Lovely Perret. She's also a minister, and we spoke to her recently. She really is well informed about quite the Jesus follower. So let's take it to our gospel song.
Your hidden glory in creation. Beautiful indeed, and those of you probably heading out to church, or some of you might be coming back about now, want to say hello and welcome. Beautiful one indeed. What a wonderful name. Up next is a beautiful Islamic selection we wanted to share with you, and to remind you, coming up, Yusuf Day of Hope taking place at the Paul Coffee Park. Of course, Tony will be there with his cameras. But that's a Sunday.
What time?
It's 12 o'clock. So maybe after we'll head down, after the show.
Yeah.
And maybe because if you were there, we could probably do a live. So maybe you could go down there and we could bring it back live a little bit. But we encourage you to please come out and support it. It's in aid of the Sick Kids Hospital. It would be, if we could get the director to play this commercial, get an idea, take the number down and call and reserve your ticket, $20 only. So Akua, by the way, is directing the program today, and he's out in Trinidad. Normally I give you a little weather update, what's happening Trinidad weather-wise. But you're watching Caribbean Sunshine, so it's sunshine wherever we are being right now. Akua, could we play that commercial, Yusuf Day of Hope?
Bismillah, Bismillah.
Yusuf Day of Hope, in collaboration with Penny Appeal Canada, presents their 17th annual Family Day at the Paul Coffee Park Area A, 3430 Derry Road East in Mississauga. Highlights include burgers, barbecue, snacks, roasted corn, hot dogs, snow cone, games, door prizes, face painting, and much more. Tickets are available now. For tickets and info, call 647-289-2629 or visit www.ydoh.ca. This event is in support of Sick Kids, Humber River Health Foundation, and Dean Support Services. Caribbean Showtime TV and Shabdam Radio are proud media partners for this event.
Bismillah, 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 Noor Allah.
Well, Tony, it's an interesting, nice one. Again, for this, it's supporting Sick Kids, Humber River, and so much. Before we go to this next item, I just wanted to say hello to Brother Roy. Brother Roy moved out somewhere out in the cottage country, but he still watches the program. I want to say hello and assalamu alaikum to his grandson, who always sit in front of the TV and wait for us to come on. So we want to say hello and welcome to the program. Here we go now with this beautiful item. Hope you enjoy. Again, you can call us. Telephone lines are open, 416-848-7772.
We're on Facebook right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, that's another thing. We really need your help. We have two Facebook groups. We still have to merge the other one, but the older one is more populated than the new one. Caribbean Showtime TV. So those of you watching us on Caribbean Showtime TV, a Facebook page, please do us a favor, share it and see if we could get some of your friends and family to watch us. And please help us spread the word. We're also on our YouTube channel, Caribbean Showtime TV, and help us spread the word, okay? So, Himraj, if you're en route, please send me a message so we know. Let's enjoy this one together. That's right, yeah,
Mustafa, Marhaba, Mustafa, Sarkar ki amad, Dildar ji amad, Sone di amad, Ahlan wa sahlan, I love you Akka, my sweet Akka, Marhaba ya Mustafa, Marhaba ya Mustafa, Marhaba ya Mustafa, Marhaba ya Mustafa. Jashn Ahmad Rasool, Allah hi Allah, Jashn Ahmad Rasool, Allah hi Allah, Allah hi Allah, bolo Allah hi Allah, Allah hi Allah, bolo Allah hi Allah, Bibi Amna ke phool, Allah hi Allah, Bibi Amna ke phool, Allah hi Allah, Jashn Ahmad Rasool, Allah hi Allah, Jashn Ahmad Rasool, Allah hi Allah. जब के सरकार तशरीफ लाने लगे, हूरों गिल्मा भी खुशियाँ मनाने लगे, हर तरफ नूर की जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बोलो अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बोलो अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बीबी आमना के फूल अल्लाह ही बीबी आमना के फूल अल्लाह ही शादियाने खुशी के बजाए गए शाद के नगमे सबको सुनाए गए हर तरफ शोर सल्ले अदा हो गया आज पैदा हबीबे खुदा हो गया फिर तो जिब्रील ने भी ये ऐलान किया ये खुदा के हैं रसूल अल्लाह ही ये खुदा के हैं रसूल अल्लाह ही जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही बोलो अल्लाह ही अल्लाह बोलो अल्लाह ही बीबी आमना के फूल अल्लाह ही बीबी आमना के फूल अल्लाह ही उनका साया ज़मीं पर न पाया गया नूर से नूर देखो जुदा ना हुआ हमको आबिद नबी पर बड़ा नाज है क्या भला मेरे आका का अंदाज है जिसने रुख पर मरी वो शिफा पा गया खाके तैबा तेरी धूल अल्लाह ही खाके तैबा तेरी धूल अल्लाह ही जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही जश्न आमद रसूल अल्लाह ही बोलो अल्लाह ही बोलो अल्लाह ही बीबी आमना के फूल अल्लाह ही बीबी आमना के फूल अल्लाह ही मरहबा मुस्तफा मरहबा मुस्तफा सरकार की आमद दिलदार जी आमद सोने दी आमद आनो सलन आई लव यू आका माय स्वीट आका मरहबा या मुस्तफा मरहबा या मुस्तफा मरहबा या मुस्तफा मरहबा या मुस्तफा बिस्मिल्लाह बिस्मिल्लाह
Yusuf Day of Hope, in collaboration with Penny Appeal Canada, presents their 17th annual Family Day at the Paul Coffee Park Area 8, 3430 Derry Road East in Mississauga. Highlights include burgers, barbecue, snacks, roasted corn, hot dogs, snow cone, games, door prizes, face painting and much more. Tickets are available now. For tickets and info, call 647-289-2629 or visit www.ydoh.ca. This event is in support of Sick Kids, Humber River Health Foundation and Dean Support Services. Caribbean Showtime TV and Shabdam Radio are proud media partners for this event.
Bismillah, 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 Noor Allah.
Well, you know, Tony's about to go get us some coffee, but I just wanted to help you with introducing the Soch, that car wash that you went out to the other day.
Oh yeah. I saw the most beautiful cars there. You got to own an expensive car.
To give me $50 for a while?
Well, and they all hand washed it. I've got a video.
We showed that. We featured that.
Well, you didn't see everybody washing the cars. Like
Patrick Brown was there doing some washing, the mayor of Brampton.
And I saw this Lamborghini.
Which he was pretending as if it was his own. You know, crazy Tony. But, you know, whenever you see Tony on the camera, really he does some stuff that makes me laugh. Fun guy. Remember, if you like him to come to your event, please and drop us a line at info@caribbeanshowtime.com. We want to say hello to Jameer Mohammed, Mr. Malibu. He's out in Simcoe, and he had started up a little roti business for some friends and family, and everybody was checking him out for the curry. I have another friend in Ashmead Ali Bokas. He was doing Simcoe chicken, and now he's selling doubles and roti. So Malibu, he is a songwriter. His songs was featured in some film out in Simcoe. So listen, hook up with Tony and let us know what we can do to work together, how we can connect with you. We can do one of our VMix interviews, and we'd love to have you. A really, really talented, hard-working young man, family man indeed. Well, Himraj, my guest this morning, is here to tell us a little bit about his book that he launched yesterday. You'd be very, very pleased to hear some of the stuff that he covered in this book. That's coming up in a little bit. But right now we go to a collage of pictures I was able to put together with Johnny King's song Wet Me Down. Akua, I know you'd like this one. Plus, Akua, want to know how the weather is. Is it wetting you up along there in Trinidad? Friends, help us spread the word. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and all IPTV boxes, www.caribbeanshowtime.com. Help us spread the word. Let's enjoy this clip here. And again, Puneet and Soch would like to say thank you not only to the volunteers, the sponsors, but every individual who came by and took part to help them raise the money that they so badly needed for continuing the mental health program, good work that they do in our community for our seniors. Let's enjoy this one.
Let me feel right when the tongue on fire. The rhythm you jamming must make me perspire all day. Let me break away when it's time for fun, honey.
You see it in the playfulness of Caribbean eyes, through the genuine happiness of our smiles. It's there in the unique way we express ourselves, in the color of our cultures, in the rich flavor of our cuisine, and in the pulse of our people. So, however far you may roam, this is home. This is Caribbean Airlines, the warmth of the islands.
Sunday, August 6th, Day 3 of SOS Fest 2023 is Reviver, the Chutney Concert. From day till evening, Reviver, featuring the biggest chutney music artists and bands from across the globe, all together on one stage for the first time ever. Taking place at the historic Markham Fairgrounds, Day 3 of Summer of Soca Festival 2023 is Reviver, the Chutney Concert. Day till evening. Single day tickets and weekend passes now available. For full lineups, tickets, and info, visit www.sosfestto.com.
Varex Freight System Limited, a global leader in freight forwarding, providing trucking and warehousing services across Canada and the US of A. Varex Freight System Limited provides air and ocean freight globally. To engage our services, please email us at info@varex.com.
Friday, August 4th is Juve Night. SOS Fest presents Colors. More powder, more water. The biggest event on Toronto Carnival Friday returns to the historic Markham Fairgrounds. Day 1 of Summer of Soca Festival 2023 is Colors. Featuring the world's biggest artists and live bands on one iconic stage. Single day tickets and weekend passes now available. For full lineups, tickets, and info, visit www.sosfestto.com.
Look at people by the truck, look at people by the truck.
I'm Kieran. And I'm Kristen. And you're watching Caribbean Sunshine.
Caribbean Sunshine, we are indeed. Don't forget, hey Malibu, again, please help us spread the word. I know you have a great group that you normally broadcast to, and I haven't seen much of you lately. So please let us know what's going on with you, and we'll make arrangement to bring you for an interview via VMix. What else we have right now? Last weekend was Canada Day, and the President, His Excellency Irfan Ali, was in town, and of course that big concert with Sean Paul. Charlie Black even made an appearance together with, we had Marshall Montano, Ravi B, Tony Cutts, and Bacardi and the rest. It was a wonderful weekend, beautiful weather. Well, on this week, President's Diary, you might notice some of you in the audience. So if you haven't yet, please share us on Facebook, invite a few friends to watch us on YouTube, and www.caribbeanshowtime.com. I'm asking you because we need to build up the audience on social media. And you are the expert, right? You're the one to help us. Here we go now with this week's President's Diary.
Welcome to the President's Diary, where we take a look at His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali's week of activities. His Excellency started his week by receiving a courtesy visit from Singapore's ambassador to CARICOM, Her Excellency Karen Ming, at State House on Monday. President Ali presented copies of his publications From Crisis to Opportunities and Post-COVID-19 Ukraine-Russia Crises, while Ambassador Tan presented gifts to the head of state. President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali on Tuesday underscored the importance of enhancing food production and integrating food security objectives with poverty and inequality reduction efforts. This is pivotal to secure food and nutrition in Latin America and the Caribbean. He was addressing the community of Latin American and Caribbean states, CELAC, high-level Ministers of Agriculture meeting held at the Arthur Tung Conference Center.
So we can't speak about this nutrition in the region and food security in the region if we don't also bring into the discourse poverty reduction strategy and reducing inequality. Very important, very fundamental to what we're doing.
President Ali emphasized the role of health, education, and technology in achieving this goal, urging CELAC to develop an action plan that outlines the sector's involvement in addressing the issue.
How will we treat investment within the CELAC family? How do we get a common policy decision that we may remove corporate tax from any investment in agriculture within the CELAC region, from any member of the CELAC family? What are the type of policies that you'll recommend at the end of this conference to be policies that are so comprehensive that you must think about adopting them throughout the region?
Between 2019 and 2021, the region witnessed a concerning rise in hunger, with an increase of 13.2 million people, surpassing the global average. President Ali has therefore called on CELAC to adopt a proactive program that specifically involves women and youths, given the region's escalating hunger rate. On Wednesday, President Ali interacted with students from Leonora Primary School during their tour of State House.
It is a day when believers come together to share meals, exchange greetings, and extend their generosity to others. At the heart of Eid lies the story of Prophet Abraham's supreme act of faith when he was tested by God. Abraham's love and loyalty to God were put to the ultimate test as he was instructed to sacrifice his beloved son. Despite the obvious inner turmoil this command brought upon him, Abraham displayed unshakable faith, unwavering loyalty, and unfaltering obedience to God. Abraham's example stands as a supreme measure of total trust in God. The story of Abraham reminds us that challenges and difficulties are a test of our character and provide opportunities to strengthen and deepen our faith and repose greater and more trust in the author of life, God.
After Eid prayers on Thursday morning at the Leonora Sunatul Jamaat, President Dr. Ali said the significance of the day goes beyond the sacrifice, noting the need to be charitable and to share with the less fortunate. Later that day, President Ali released a statement on the development of Guyana's foreign policy.
At the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, everyone was high in praise for Guyana's leadership on the issue of climate change, the low carbon development strategy, and forests. So we've engaged Commonwealth, we had engagement with Ghana, Rwanda, seeking to marry our technology, seeking to integrate what we do. Our local content legislation benefited from best practices in Ghana too. I've been asked to give the keynote address at more than 150 events. Of course, I could not have done all of those. Humanly impossible. But I'm giving you these figures so you understand in what esteem our country is held today.
His Excellency President Dr. Irfan Ali met with a number of small, medium and large-scale poultry farmers from across the country on Friday morning. Discussions surrounded the current state of the poultry industry and short, medium and long-term solutions. Suggestions were made on how to make the industry more competitive and the type of support the government can give. This was the President's Diary, where we took a look at His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali's week of activities. Thank you for watching and do join us again next time.
Bismillah, Bismillah.
Yusuf Day of Hope, in collaboration with Penny Appeal Canada, presents their 17th annual Family Day at the Paul Coffey Park Area A, 3430 Derry Road East in Mississauga. Highlights include burgers, barbecue, snacks, roasted corn, hot dogs, snow cone, games, door prizes, face painting and much more. Tickets are available now. For tickets and info, call 647-289-2629 or visit www.ydoh.ca. This event is in support of Sick Kids, Humber River Health Foundation and Dean Support Services. Caribbean Showtime TV and Shabdam Radio are proud media partners for this event.
Welcome to the President's Diary, where we take a look at His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali's week of activities. His Excellency started his week by engaging the Canadian diaspora on Guyana's development and investment opportunities. The head of state also visited 3 major houses of worship, including the East Scarborough Pentecostal Church, the International Muslim Organization of Toronto, and the Brampton Triveni Mandir, all of which had major Guyanese presence. During an engagement with the Guyanese diaspora in Canada, he discussed Guyana's development and numerous investment opportunities. This move ties into government's action of building and marketing Guyana as a unique brand. He underscored that a world-class service sector will require modernization of Guyana's records management system, using biometrics and electronic identification cards and passports, among other e-management systems, and embracing robotics and technology.
We have to now utilize the technology that is available to move us quickly up the chain, as expensive as it is. We have to transfer everything that we have learned to do all our lives onto an electronic platform. We are now not only making the investment, but making the legislative changes to allow this to happen. We have to now embrace robotics. This is part of the developing a world-class services sector. Going to robotics, electronic data management systems, technology, a paperless system.
On Wednesday, His Excellency President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali arrived in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago for the opening ceremony of the 45th Meeting of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM. This year, CARICOM is celebrating 50 years since the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas between Guyana, Barbados, Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, which birthed the regional body. President Ali and other CARICOM heads of government revisited the Chaguaramas Convention Center in Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday morning, where the historical signing took place. At the venue, the leaders signed a letter that contains their collective vision for the next 50 years. It was then sealed and placed in a time capsule for CARICOM centenary celebrations in July of 2073. The leaders also took part in a tree planting exercise. His Excellency also met with a number of leaders, including the Secretary General of the United Nations, Prime Minister of South Korea, and President of Rwanda during the opening ceremony of the meeting. On Thursday, President Ali held bilateral talks with the United States of America's Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, at State House. Guyana is seeking to strengthen its collaboration with the United States to address crime and security, as well as food and energy security.
Guyana is contributing significantly in all 3 of these areas. The vision of Guyana is to position our country to be a leader, a global leader on energy security, food security, and climate security. We are seeking to expand our partnership with the U.S. in all of these areas. The discussion centered around the importance of establishing robust systems to effectively address transnational crime, particularly drug trafficking. The United States has played a tremendous role in the training of our security forces in the last 2 years. We had the greatest partnership in terms of the training of our security forces and partnership in combating many different forms of crime. And we have gained tremendous success in the last 3 years in these areas. We are committed to continuing this partnership, expanding this partnership, building stronger relationship and trust, creating greater network, and very soon the trade wind exercise will be held here in Guyana once more. Later that afternoon, President Ali received a courtesy visit from the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Canada, Mr. Mahinder Sidhu, at State House. On Friday morning, President Ali attended the commissioning of Bauxite Minerals CLIN No. 15 and MASS project in Linden Region 10. Linden today is undergoing what Guyana is undergoing: rapid and massive transformation. Make no mistake, Region 10 and Linden will not be left behind or will not be staggering behind. But our investment in Linden is geared towards the full diversification of the economy and the expansion of opportunities in every field of national development. The road that is currently under construction, Linden-Mabura Hill, the bridges that will be completed, and also we are already discussing with Brazil and other stakeholders, and I'm sure this will be an agenda item in China itself with President Xi, on how we are going to complete the road from Lethem all the way to Mabura Hill. So we'll have a full highway that will integrate the transport logistics of northern Brazil, Guyana, and the rest of the region.
On Friday afternoon, President Ali delivered the feature address at the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA, Poultry Symposium. The Guyana Livestock Development Agency, GLDA, hosted a symposium with small, medium, and large-scale poultry farmers at the Arthur Chong Conference Center on Friday. The symposium, a brainchild of President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, presented a platform for farmers to share challenges affecting them within the poultry sector. It also aimed to develop a consultation-based holistic system to increase poultry production towards the goal of attaining food security.
The poultry industry in Guyana must be rebuilt in a resilient, sustainable, viable, and profitable way. Today's meeting is not only to deal with the current situation and crisis, it's to position this sector. We're going to do everything that it takes to position this sector to be one of the strongest poultry sectors in the region.
He told farmers that government is committed to providing support and investment to assist farmers in reducing difficulties faced and improving the poultry industry. This was the President's Diary, where we took a look at His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali's week of activities. Thank you for watching. Do join us again next time.
Some people see workers. We see team players who go above and beyond your expectations. For the past 2 decades, Top Notch has proudly been the supplier of choice for many companies. Our commitment and our diversity presents a united force. We collaborate with many organizations, and whether you are new to the country, simply looking for a career change, or are a company seeking out top talent, contact us today. We are here to serve you.
Varex Freight System Limited, a global leader in freight forwarding, providing trucking and warehousing services across Canada and the US of A. Varex Freight System Limited provides air and ocean freight globally. To engage our services, please email us at info@varex.com.
You see it in the playfulness of Caribbean eyes, through the genuine happiness of our smiles. It's there in the unique way we express ourselves, in the color of our cultures, in the rich flavor of our cuisine, and in the pulse of our people. So, however far you may roam, this is home. This is Caribbean Airlines, the warmth of the islands.
Organizing an indoor or outdoor special event? Trust D's Tent Rental. Choose from our wide variety of tents, tables, chairs, custom lighting, and much more. We pride ourselves on providing speedy, reliable, professional service. Our experts can help with space management and crowd flow. All of our rentals are properly cleaned and sanitized before delivery. Let D's Tent Rental do it right. D's Tent Rental. We've got you covered. Call 647-522-7566 or email us at dstentrental@gmail.com.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold. Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
You, Bono! Let me see you put up your hands if you're not tech worries. Not tech worries. We don't take worries. My crew, you never take worries. Put up your hands if you're not tech worries. जैसे कांद पे बदल झुके हुए आके है जैसे मैं के प्याले भरे हुए मस्ती है जिसमें प्यार की तुम वो शराब हो चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब हो चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब हो है चौदहवीं का चांद हो Let me see you put up your hands if you're not take worries. Not take worries. We don't take worries. My crew, we never take worries. Put up your hands if you're not take worries. We not take worries. We don't take worries. My crew, we never take worries. चेहरा है जैसे झील में हंसता हुआ कवम या जिंदगी के साज पे चढ़ी हुई गजल जामे बहार तुम किसी शाही का ख्वाब हो चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब हो है चौदहवीं का चांद हो Let me see you put up your hands if you're not take worries. Not take worries. We don't take worries. My crew, we never take worries. Put up your hands if you're not take worries. We not take worries. We don't take worries. My crew, we never take worries. जुल्फे है जैसे कांधों पे बादल झुके हुए या जिंदगी की साज पे तेरी हुई गजल मस्ती है जिसमें प्यार की तुम वो शराब हो चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब हो चौदहवीं का चांद हो या आफताब हो जो भी हो तुम खुदा की कसम लाजवाब हो है चौदहवीं का चांद हो Roger, Robbie B, Karma be crazy.
Justice Reddy. Chowdahvi Ka Chand. You know, I'm tempted to ask my guests here to sing along with me. That's a nice one, an old one, and the fact, you know, when you hear Rakesh singing his version, the part, it really conjures up some fond memories indeed. Well, today, as promised, I am honored to have a friend drop by the studio, Himraj Ramdat. I want to tell you, I'll read a little bit. Now, if we were to go through this entire bio, it's short, but it's well packed. And I think to do justice to this, someone's academic achievement and life experience achievement need to be mentioned. Clement Truth. Himraj Ramdat, a Canadian-based business consultant and researcher, has spent the past 4 decades working globally in the energy and fast-moving consumer goods FMCG sector. He began his career with the United Nations, and thereafter he held executive position with several multinational and regional corporations with the responsibilities of strategy, branding, global entry, innovation. Excuse me. This is live TV. So this position had him moved to places like Barbados, where he was a country manager with Shell Oil Company, VP Global Business, and SM Jalil Company. We'd have to take a break and come back. I cannot. Akua, help your brother out.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
So you own a business, have an event you want people to know about. You want to spread the word to as many people as possible that your product or service exists. Call AdWorks International. AdWorks is an advertising agency which utilizes professionals in radio, television, and print advertising to help you get your company's message across. Your ad will be noticed by more people more quickly. AdWorks from concept to completion will deliver an ad that works. AdWorks International. Call 416-832-7293.
Jazz Supermarket in Brampton is the preferred place to shop for all your Caribbean grocery needs. You are guaranteed fresh fruits and vegetables as shipments arrive twice a week. Whether you're sending a barrel, money, or just need to find a certain ingredient to get that back home taste, Jazz Supermarket has it all. You can even stock up with poultry or meat from the halal meat counter, CDs, gift items, or fresh bread and pastries from the bakery. Caribbean jewelry and ready-made casual clothing now available. Come visit Jazz Supermarket, 9025 Torbram Road at the corner of Queen and Torbram in Brampton, where friendly service awaits you.
Twilight Family Restaurant and Bar is Scarborough's largest West Indian family restaurant. Come and sample our delicious appetizers like our chicken wings, black pudding, and spicy shrimp. Great entrees such as chili chicken and Twilight spicy chicken. Give us a call at 416-754-6894. Twilight Restaurant and Bar, serving the best in Guyanese Chinese cuisine for the past 8 years.
For that, I had to take a break because I was coughing nonstop. Anyway, my guest today is Himraj Ramdat. Again, he holds a degree in political science and economics and an executive master of business, EMBA. He is a charter member of the Rotary Club Barbados South and former member of the Rotary Club Port of Spain. Over the past 3 years, he has presented papers on indentureship and entrepreneurship at several global Indian diaspora conferences and spent most of the time mentoring business students globally. With this book, he has become a first-time author. He's married to Sherry. I want to say hello to his wife, Sherry. And you know, the spouse sometimes get left behind, but I wanted to make sure we acknowledge you for the sacrifices you have made so that he could work and bring this book to us. And his two daughters, Ramona and Rihanna, and 10-year-old granddaughter, Serena, and he is currently in Ottawa, Canada. But today he's joining us here in our studios in Mississauga. I want to say welcome, Himraj, and thank you for joining us. Well, as mentioned, it's your first book. But when I was having my coughing spell, I had to stop a little bit. But one of the things that I remembered him for when I first met him was when he was bringing Chubby, then Chubby, into Canada and worked with people in Canada to get it to a standard that Canadian would enjoy and help rebrand, and went on to take this Chubby brand globally. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
And he has made lots of friends here, and I was surprised when he just picked up, disappeared. Then I heard he was in Barbados, in Kuwait, and all over the place. But today we are here again, and I want to say thank you. It's been a while. His book, Beyond Indentureship, the Indo-Trinidadian Entrepreneur. This book, let me just hold it up. don't know if you could see it. We had featured him yesterday on Caribbean Showtime TV, but we had not enough time. Tell our listeners a little bit about this book.
But first of all, it is a compilation of 33 family-owned businesses in Trinidad, and how they grew from indentureship into entrepreneurs, how they became entrepreneurs, what were the factors that led to that growth and development, what were the challenges that they faced, and how did they overcome those challenges, and of course, how do you prepare for the future? I think it's important that we document some of this data and information, principally because very little has been done before in doing so.
And you had mentioned on a previous interview that you look back at your nanny or your grandmother, and having a stall in the market, you saw her as an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, because she couldn't add or subtract, as you said, but yet still she was able to grow and run a small business, and that inspired you, and you were at awe to know how come this could be done. But now you were able to follow not only your nanny, but there were other successful women in business. And your book you mentioned and had a section dedicated to women. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think when I looked at my grandmother running a small business, as you say, 5 different markets over 4 days, and then during the week planting rice and everything else, and then getting products to take to the market, you try to say, how is it possible that someone who cannot do math, who cannot add or subtract, can run a stall in the market, right? Give exact change, and continue to educate all the children, 10 children, and I said, well, wow, this is amazing, and you only start appreciating thereafter, and I look for parallels, and they're in fact significant about the parallels. My book has, I've only been able to identify or publish 5, but we have at least 8 women who we've interviewed. Amazing development, amazing achievement they've done from what they've come from to what they are today. And when you look at Mrs. Bhagwan Singh, for example, who is the epitome of women managers today, and leadership, she's been able, she's been nominated and she's been inducted into the Chamber Hall of Fame in Trinidad, the first woman ever in 138 years to be inducted in the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber Industry Hall of Fame. And that says something. She was also named Woman of the Millennium by the Energy Chamber in Trinidad in 2000. And she was given an honorary Doctors of Law degree at UWI. So it tells you the caliber. And this is just one example.
Well, I want to take you back a little bit to what you said. Your parents or your grandparents were farmers, and you were remembering your grandmother, how she was able to put together this small business. But look at the product of her generation and to where you are today. You were a spin-off of your parents and grandparents taking the initiative to educate. So what they did, they farmed, they opened small businesses, but they invested in you and your siblings. Today, you're a qualified, educated man, and you can subtract and add, but I think it's a blessing, and to pay homage to them and to grandparents and parents who traded land and livestock and worked so hard to get us where we are today. I think is very commendable that you take the time to recognize and share that story, because I think too often we forget that. Yeah. Now, moving forward, in your book and in the interviews that you have had and have been watching, you tell the stories of some successful businesses. Now, after indentureship, not every rice farmer or cane cutter were the ones who started and sparked that business, because people came from India and they also came with money and started their own businesses here too. We had a small sector of black slaves who were also indentured servants, and they too carried on. Not to take away from your title beyond the indentureship experience, but could you mention any Afro-Trinidadian businesses that you remembered or in your research would have highlighted?
Yeah, there are quite a lot. In fact, you go back. Let me go back to the sugar. You talk about sugar. I mean, sugar plant. I mean, the Indians came to the Caribbean, and Trinidad especially, to work in the sugar plantations, and some in the coconut and some in rubber as well. By the end of indentureship, on the end of there was about 20,000 independent cane farmers, right? Of which 14,000 were Indian cane farmers, but there were 4,200 African cane farmers. They were running their own estates, 5 acres, 10 acres of land, and producing product and selling and doing very well. I think the problem is that the Indians the families had stayed in the business, stayed in sugar, because mainly they lived in the country areas, and the Africans either sold their holdings or got out of that and went into other things. So they moved on. Yeah.
But by proportion too, they were smaller group compared to
they were, but remember, because during they left the estate since 1838, right? After slavery was abolished, they didn't want to be associated with the unacceptable conditions under which they lived, and therefore they ran away from the estates rather than run towards the estates. The Indians went into the estates. In fact, they were brought into the estates, right? And therefore, as the African exited the estate, the Indians were brought to provide labor, cheap labor. That's what the estate wanted, right?
And they didn't have it as hard as the African slave, and that's another story too.
It's another story. But the question you asked about the African who have gone into business, yes, there are people like Max Senhouse, for example, and Bob York. You know, there are quite a few very, very successful companies. Today, I'm continuing the research on that. Langston Roach is another one who've done exceptionally well in chemicals, cleaning products, etc. So yes, there are quite a few, and there's a two very exciting women as well. Marshall Montano's wife, a mother, Elizabeth Montano, who is Marshall's mother and manager, and you have Ingrid Jara, who owns the Cinema One in Trinidad, which is the IMAX cinema, do exceptionally well. And that company is now on the local stock market as well. So there are some very, very good examples of Africans as well. And therefore, it needs to be told. So these become the imagery and the motivation for everybody to do better.
And I also think it's give us a little bit of pride. As you mentioned, the Starbucks, the Google and the big companies are used as examples, but I think in our niche, in our neck of the wood, I think it's important that we recognize some of the contribution made by some of these individuals, as you mentioned.
Absolutely, and I mean that's one of the reasons the book officially was launched at Atta Lockjack Graduate School of Business, because it is fundamentally a case studies of family in business. And it doesn't matter which family, because the idea of managing a business is the same regardless of ethnicity. I wrote a lot about the Indians because they were willing and open to talk, right? Which is again very strange because they don't speak very much. Generally, private businesses do not share a lot of their information.
Secrets, at least.
They don't have
trade secrets.
You know, but I've had some good introductions, especially like people like Professor Samru, who actually were able to open some doors for me, and therefore they became more open to and again based on my experience. I mean, a lot of people knew the things I did. Spent all my life in business, and therefore there was some respect from that.
Well, you also mentioned some of the businesses that you followed. Could you list a few of them that you've mentioned in the book? And I know that you had them in transportation, different sector.
Yes.
If you could share with us.
I have 6 sectors. Is the major sectorial. I did a sectorial analysis based on the sectors that contribute to economic development. So you have transport. People like Batu Brothers started in transport. Munan, interestingly, he's in construction, but he started in transport as well. First of all, moving cane from the sugar estates to the factories. Same thing with sign contractors in Trinidad, in San Fernando, Siparia. In fact, the whole city there is named after Sign Village, named after him. he started transporting people when the train extended into the country areas in the late 1900s, early 2000s, and therefore they provided transport system from the workers coming from the railroads, people who were bringing goods and services, and that also opened up a lot of opportunities because farmers were now able to take their produce from the Pinal and the Siparia and Debe areas and Rio Claro and Sandy Grande into the city centers. So it worked both ways and established transport business, established more help for the farmers because as they planted the products, they were able to get to the market.
Well, you have used this, and this book is now suggested to be used for academic research in business. How does this help a student studying to do business?
Excellent question. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, we followed about 5 different segments in each business. So although we did a sectorial analysis by energy, by manufacturing, by transport, by services, and then we looked at each company and I said, okay, here it is. Where did they begin? How did they begin? What were the resources that they had available to them? How did they utilize their resources? What were the challenges they faced? How did they overcome those challenges? Right? And more important, how do you prepare your organization for the future, i.e. succession planning, i.e. human resource management, right? And then finally, what do you give back to society? What is your philanthropy? What is your corporate social responsibility? So no matter the ethnicity of a business, you have to go through all that process, right? So whether you are African, Chinese, Indian, white, no matter who you are, you have to manage your resources that you have in the best and the most efficient manner, right? And you have to make sure your people are trained and prepared to manage your business in all different scenarios. Yeah.
Well, so, in the past, businesses would have brought on their own family. That could be a positive and sometimes detrimental, negative. Have you cited stuff like that where they would not bring in the experts, but because of loyalty and trust, they had their own family members? Was that seen as a plus or a negative?
Yes and no. I think what has happened in the Indian families particularly is that as you said earlier, land was the means of transformation. However, in almost every case, the companies made sure their children or their children's children are well educated in the field of business. And therefore, they brought them in early, allowed them to manage or to run the business, and then made sure they became proficient in that business. So they went and did either engineering or business management or chemistry or whatever. And therefore, I mean, people like Ramps, for example, is a very nice example. The father worked in the sugar estates, Carton Cane, and today they are the largest logistics company in Trinidad. And in fact, the region, almost everywhere in Latin America, Central America, USA, they are there. All because their children are now fully trained, right, in logistics and in transportation.
You know, it's interesting. What we are talking about, I see it currently unfolding in Guyana. What those individuals are setting up now, whether they would be delivering goods, services, doing repairs for that sector, oil, I could see where the genesis, I know they have a history and they are successful businesses in Guyana, but I think there's a restart also happening in Guyana. Have you thought about following and covering some of the stories from Guyana?
Yes, I have, and I mean, the ones that I've seen and read about, I've read 2 or 3 that have already been published. There is that commonality. Now, I think Guyana is in a different dynamics in that they found a significant amount of oil, and it's a country with very little human resource, or I should say, trained human resource. And therefore, you have to, in the first instance, import or bring enough people or send your people out to be trained properly. So I think that they will get there, but I think that there will be a challenge in terms of getting the experienced people to do so. Luckily, in some way, Trinidad have a lot of people in the oil and gas industry with experience, with experts, because Trinidad has been doing it for 100 years.
Well, I think the government recognized that, and some local Guyanese don't appreciate the fact that these are trained individuals coming to Guyana. But the fact that they are venturing into agriculture in a big way, and they have the expertise in that. They have the fertile land, they have the water, and everything else. But I think they are a step up compared to...
And that's the game changer. Because they have the land, they have the agricultural base, they have the agricultural expertise. What they did not have was the infrastructure, right, to take the products to market. So now, with the newfound funds, they can now invest into more mechanized harvesting.
And you know, the government, we can't forget that. Honestly, what I've been seeing with the government, how they are encouraging and nurturing and really bringing the resources, putting it on the doorstep, really, really amazing.
And this is what we're going to say, because if they do the road system, the transport system, getting trucks to the farmers, right, getting mills to the farmers, right, getting the products to the port, that kind of nurturing infrastructure, that kind of infrastructure is required for success. And they do have a very, at least from what I read, they're very encouraging and engaging environment to allow that to happen. And at the end of the day, we all know Guyana was supposed to be the food basket of the Caribbean. And they have the capability, they have the capacity, they have the knowledge. Right, I mean, they have everything: the rice, bauxite. I mean,
even
sugar,
fishery, the fishing industry.
Yeah.
I mean, but coming back to the book again, my guess is I don't know why I want to say Dr. Himraj Ramdat. You know, his wealth of knowledge and the years of experience he's been working in this sector and this business. I was surprised he took the time to compile this book for us, which I'm very grateful, because it's a refreshing approach to education. And at least sharing is a mixed book, a mixed bundle where you would have a little bit of history, a little bit of culture, a little bit of business, and to put it all together so neatly, a man like him is the only one I think could do it. And I want to mention, he sought the help of experts. Dr. Brinsley Samaru, how you were able to win his support for this project?
Great question, actually. I have had the pleasure of working with Dr. Samaru, Professor Samaru, during a few global conferences. Way back in 2017, the National Council of Indian Culture had a global conference on the Indian diaspora, and he was a presenter, and I happened to be at the conference, helping with NCIC at that time. And we had a lot of interaction. I felt this fabulous connection. And we spoke at length about what he was doing and what I would like to do, because I was in the midst of trying to find my way and try to link with my ancestors, really, to find my roots. And of course, he helped in that regard. But more important, we started having an intellectual dialogue about entrepreneurship, because I've always been excited about entrepreneurship. I was doing a lot of mentoring for students of the MBA program at Lockjack on entrepreneurship, and I thought it was a nice time to take it a little step further, you know, and therefore we started that discussion. And then at the same conference, there was a Professor Ghanshyam, who was from the Benares Hindu University in India. He invited me to present a paper in India on entrepreneurship and indentureship, and that started the journey. And Professor Samaru was one of the pillars of strength in this book. I mean, he not only opened doors for me at the university, at the libraries, and some of the businesses, but he also read and edited every single one of these case studies, which is incredible. You hardly find people doing that.
And he's well renowned, worldwide renowned, and known for his expertise in history, agriculture. You know, but watching and listening to him, Raj, the light and spark in his eyes when he speaks about Dr. Brinsley Samaru, I'm talking about him and I'm getting goosebumps. because even as we speak, the last interview we did on Saturday and his book launch, it was told that Dr. Samaru might not make it through the weekend. In fact, there is rumors, he got on his phone today, that the professor had passed. Now, we cannot confirm that, so please, I want to make that quite clear. But leading up to this discussion and interview, Himraj was always grateful, thankful, and appreciative of all the work put into this book by the professor. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, with that humility he dedicated. So tell us a little bit about the dedication.
Yes,
to Dr. Samaru.
in fact, I thought that this book was more his than mine, because he had done so much work. I mean, every month for almost 12, 14 months, he went through meticulously every single line, and made corrections, made comments, made suggestions, right? So it's just only read and say, okay, change this or change that, and it's interesting that, here it is, you have one of the most renowned historian, right? A former member of parliament, a former minister in government, the head of the department of the University of the West Indies, history department, sorry, and can take that time to spend with me on this. I think that is just, it is incredible what you say about the man. In fact, what I said here, I owe the entire...
if you could, I would like Akua, if you could put up Dr. Samaru's picture while we do this. So, again, we cannot confirm whether he had passed, but he was critically ill. That's the gentleman we are talking about.
Yes, and I said, and just to add to that, up to last night there was no confirmation. There was a rumor circulating, but up to 11:30 last night, that was not confirmed. So I wrote in my book here, I owe the entire content of this publication to Professor Emetrius Brinsley Samaru, who has been my much appreciated advisor and mentor. Professor Samaru worked tirelessly in reviewing all 33 cases presented and has provided guidance and suggestions to make the book more relevant, ensuring all information was credible and current. For a person of that caliber to sit with me, he is one of the professors they use as an examiner for all the PhD students, right? And here it is, he provides this time and effort and energy to me. That's a blessing for me.
Not only that, recently, and we have a picture of that also, where you were supposed to present the book and launch it in Suriname at a conference, and you wasn't able to make it, and he did it. Akua, I think we have a picture of that also, if you could find it. Tell us about that.
And that's interesting because, there was a global conference on labor migration in Suriname on June 8th. To the 10th, which is exactly 1 month ago. That's not the picture, that's yesterday.
That was of yesterday, but there's one where he was holding the book up. That was one of the first pictures I sent you last week. Continue.
Yeah, and I was not able to go because I had another commitment in the US to launch my book, and he took it upon himself to take this book and present it at a book launch in Suriname, and for me that's, I'm hoping for a miracle, but I would consider that to be his last official project or event that he would have done, anything. And it was my book in his hands at a global conference, talking to people saying, listen, this is something you must have. It's a kind of endorsement that is priceless.
I'm glad that we were able to, and I know we are over time in this, but I need to share the time to talk about Professor Samaru. He has contributed over the years. When I started our Indian arrival here in Canada, I reached out to him and he was able to give me some advice. Another gentleman from Guyana, Mr. Isu Prasad, he was very passionate when I was trying to do Indian arrival and the way I was approaching it, and they were very pleased. And he too was very willing to help. So today we are talking about Dr. Brinsley Samaru, and we have one who worked on this project with Professor Samaru, and getting an insight about his work ethics, the way he treated Himraj and this project, I really strongly recommend, because he played it. Here's a picture where he was in Suriname presenting the book. Well, this book, I really suggest that you get a copy. Yesterday you launched it in Toronto. How was the reception? How was the attendance?
It was very, very good. I mean, we had almost 90% attendance. And our host, the Trinidad and Tobago Consul General Office, was amazing.
We could use those pictures now.
Yeah, I mean, she was incredible. The office was facilitated almost everything. There she is in the jacket with a few of the other people who attended. It was very well received. We had some readings from Madame Maraj, from George Maraj, who did his mother. Madame Maraj. We had a reading from
And just to say, George Maraj read from Mother Maraj, who was a successful businesswoman. Absolutely. I believe she had a beauty salon at that time.
Absolutely. She was the first cosmetologist ever in Trinidad.
And she also, her son, who has Sasha Kamal, who has Sasha Cosmetic, a worldwide brand now, is featured in your book.
It is featured in the book. And the interesting thing, there's a link between, because she was a Syrian as well. Right, the mother was a Syrian, so you had the
like
Syrian.
The Syrian contractor.
Correct, absolutely. So from the Syrian, then she became a cosmetologist, and she went and studied on her own, all the way to Europe. Right, worked her way through, studied, and came back and established a beauty salon. And then her son Kama started Sasha Cosmetics. Her daughter runs a beauty salon in a cosmetologist shop in Yorkville as well, Yorkdale. Very high end.
Yorkville, I would believe.
Yeah, Yorkdale, yeah. It's in the book as well. And then, of course, George himself is a collector of Calypso.
An authority.
Authority in Calypso.
Honestly, and you know,
and
I want to see this. Indian people, East Indian people and businesses have done so much for Trinidad culture, and namely Carnival, Calypso, Soca. They were sponsoring bands to travel the world with the steel pan and share our culture. And you know, we are not recognized, the business, the Indo-Caribbean person. So when I started Indian Arrival Day in Canada, I featured Mass, I featured Calypso. We had Louis Saldina presenting some costume, Marlon Singh, we had some rhythm section, but people like the Samarus who supplied the beads and the feathers and the wires.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He was a major player.
And for 60 years. Eh?
And we not taken the American stores and others sponsored steel pan to travel the world.
Let me go back. In fact, there's just interesting comment here, because you go back 1933, the Rahmat family, Rahmat Industries, sent the first Calypso tent up the islands, St. Lucius and Vincent, Grenada, etc. The first time. And some carnival costumes as well. Admiral's Travel, Admiral Khan, took the steel band, Trinidad Cavaliers, to tour for more than 11 years, and more than 1 billion people saw steel band for the first time. These are family companies that took Trinidad and Tobago culture to the world.
And they would never recognize or appreciate. Look at George Maraj. George has been collecting and is an authority, but they don't give him the kudos that goes with it, honestly.
And the sad part about that, he had such a fantastic collection. The government should have taken that collection.
Yes.
You know, but yet still allow it to move on. So.
And it's not about politics, it's about facts. And you know, sometimes if we don't do this, you know, this program is called Caribbean Showtime TV. And some people might say, well, sometimes we have a lot of East Indian, and I'm telling you, going forward, you would continue to see that, because it's about time we bring that extra balance, a little more than we do. We would cover the reggae, the calypso, and everything else. But I think it's about time now we put on the forefront some of our hidden treasures, hidden stories.
Absolutely, because these people I mean, have come from nothing. They, remember when they came to the Caribbean? When they came to Trinidad, they came with nothing except a Jaji bundle. That's it. Yet still they were able to transform their lives and transform the whole economic situation in Trinidad. First of all, they save the agricultural industry in Trinidad. They contribute to the treasury by taxes and exports, etc. You know, so they have contributed so much, and yet still we have never appreciated those efforts. So it's time we start doing that. And this is hopefully one of the reasons why everybody should get a copy of this.
Please, I urge you, we're not here to sell, but get a copy. We'll tell you about how you can get that. So we talk about the Indo-Caribbean contribution. By the way, if you'd like to phone in, I'm getting some calls on my cell, but you can call us at 416-848-7772, 416-848-7772. Himraj, again, coming back to the book, I want to congratulate you on this venture. I hope we would see another volume. You know, we are getting older, and you know, sometimes we feel look at Ram Jagesa.
Yeah.
Ram Jagesa encouraged so many people to become authors and publish their books, and we lost him so quietly.
Yeah.
And there's so much. Look, Dr. Brinzi Samaru.
Yeah.
So when we are able, you selflessly put so many other families into this book, and it wasn't an easy task. Let me tell you, dealing with some business people could be really problematic. You know, I'm sure some of them might even want to pay for the book, and they are millionaires, and I can tell you that.
Nobody have paid, nobody.
Nobody, right?
This is not about paying, this is...
Yes, but still, I mean, for the effort, they could see and have the foresight. Anyway, please get a copy of this book, and we'll tell you how we can purchase it.
Well, at the moment it's on Amazon, both Kindle and hard copies, but I'm trying to see where I can get it in Toronto.
The different booklets?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
Not yet, no.
And
but because I'm based in Ottawa, I can send books for anybody, or maybe through your offices.
Yes.
Maybe through your, yes, they can very happily
so we can
get copies
call
for you.
us, and we'll be able to give you a number where he can, and it can be shipped out from the publisher straight to your home. So if you'd like to contact Himraj, can we get that number?
Yes, my email address is hramdat@yahoo.com, RAMDATH, or 647-888-6970. It's my cell number, and also WhatsApp.
If you could repeat the
647-888-6970.
Because we just planned this interview yesterday, on his way going to Ottawa, he made a detour to check us out. We didn't get all the information. I apologize for some of the pictures that I didn't give Akua advance notice. But yeah, some people I'm sure you like to say thank you to, like our Consul General.
Absolutely. I mean, they've done such a wonderful job in preparing the place. Wonderful. I mean, the first time I've been to that office, I've been to the old one, but Tracy's been a marvelous host. Everything we wanted and we expected or we asked for was available to us. And the speech was incredible. I hope we can be able to share it sometime, maybe the next program. And Herman C. Lucian was there as well, giving bringing some greetings. It was a really wonderful occasion, and all the response so far has been extremely positive.
Well, in closing, we were doing an interview, and you mentioned about women in business. We touched on
Ms. Bhagwan Singh.
Ms. Bhagwan Singh, and even while we were recording that interview, Dan Thiel was on fire. We were recording, our director pointed that out after, and it was on the news. She is a proud owner. She started off. A little background on Wendy?
Yeah, but again, you see, Mrs. Bhagwan Singh began a business with the father in San Fernando, right? Bhagwan Singh Hardware. Then moved on. When she got married, she moved to
Freeport?
Valsain, Valsain. And then the father had purchased the drive-in cinema there, and she started managing it. And she enjoyed it so much and did such a fantastic job that when they sold the cinema, the father asked her to run the small business. They had a small 10 by 10 shed in Port of Spain, sea lots, and she went there and she transformed the entire business and then bought it from her father, and that is where it morphed into other things. And today she's considered to be the most successful businesswoman in Trinidad and Tobago.
In the conversation, did they share how they got to the dance seal?
No, but Dancy was a member of the original family business, right?
But she being
the
owner, the last owner, because when was it her brother?
Yes, they bought. Yeah, she bought it from the brother. Yes.
Yes, and Dan Seal, we must say, many of us from the Southland would have made purchases and would have received some of the discounts and generosity of Jack Ramutar, the late Jack Ramutar Singh.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see the business went up in flame as it did. Well, we have to leave it there. We have Tony Maroney standing by. We had a quick interview we'd like to share with him. Maybe I can introduce that when we come back after the short commercial break. Imraj, thank you very much.
I want to make sure I give you the first copy for you and for the station itself.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. And anybody visiting will get a copy, a signed copy. So if you like to get a copy, I'm sure he would be able to sign it for you. Please contact me. We'll give you the number. Again, my number, you can reach me. Everybody would hear it time and time again, 416-832-7293, 416-832-7293, or you can call us at the studio, or info@caribbeanshowtime.com. Easy to remember, info@caribbeanshowtime.com. Again, my guest was Himraj Ramdat. It was a pleasure, and I hope you'll be able to come back because there's so much more we could chat about.
Absolutely, anytime. There's so much more to say about the contribution that people have made, that these people have made to uplifting the lives of everybody.
Yeah, it's so much. I mean, they talk about philosophy and giving back and sharing. I think that is a spin-off of our East Indian belief.
Absolutely.
Their training, their religion.
And this is it, whether it is philanthropy had nothing. If you are a Muslim, it's zakat. If it's Hindu, it's seva. If it's Christian, it's fine. So it's right across the board, right? Philanthropy is a part, an important part, an element of our lives, because by giving back, you get more in return.
Well, he's giving, and I got his copy. Thank you very much. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Thank you again.
You see it in the playfulness of Caribbean eyes, through the genuine happiness of our smiles. It's there in the unique way we express ourselves, in the color of our cultures, in the rich flavor of our cuisine, and in the pulse of our people. So, however far you may roam, this is home. This is Caribbean Airlines, the warmth of the islands.
Sunday, August 6th, Day 3 of SOS Fest 2023 is Reviver, the Chutney Concert. From day till evening, Reviver, featuring the biggest chutney music artists and bands from across the globe, all together on one stage for the first time ever. Taking place at the historic Markham Fairgrounds, Day 3 of Summer of Soca Festival 2023 is Reviver, the Chutney Concert. Day till evening. Single day tickets and weekend passes now available. For full lineups, tickets, and info, visit www.sosfestto.com.
Farex Freight System Limited, a global leader in freight forwarding, providing trucking and warehousing services across Canada and the US of A. Farex Freight System Limited provides air and ocean freight globally. To engage our services, please email us at info@farex.com.
Friday, August 4th is Juve Night. SOS Fest presents Colors. More powder, more water. The biggest event on Toronto Carnival Friday returns to the historic Markham Fairgrounds. Day 1 of Summer of Soca Festival 2023 is Colors. Featuring the world's biggest biggest artists and live bands on one iconic stage. Single-day tickets and weekend passes now available. For full lineups, tickets, and info, visit www.sosfestto.com.
People by the truck, by the truck, look at people by the truck.
I'm Kieran. And I'm Kristen. And you're watching Caribbean Sunshine.
We're Sunshine Smoothies, and you're watching Caribbean Sunshine.
Bismillah, Bismillah.
Yusuf Day of Hope, in collaboration with Penny Appeal Canada, presents their 17th annual Family Day at the Paul Coffee Park Area 8, 3430 Derry Road East in Mississauga. Highlights include burgers, barbecue, snacks, roasted corn, hot dogs, snow cone, games, door prizes, face painting, and much more. Tickets are available now. For tickets and info, call 647-289-2629 or visit www.ydoh.ca. This event is in support of Sick Kids, Humber River Health Foundation, and Dean Support Services. Caribbean Showtime TV and Shabdam Radio are proud media partners for this event.
Bismillah, Bismillah,
Bismillah,
Nurullah.
Well, friends, we are running out of time, and of course, I just wanted to give Himraj and that book enough time. Well, we have Tony here who caught up with Lazo. Tell us about that interview, and I want to apologize because it was late last night and the lighting might be a little bit low. Tony, we have a few minutes. You want to share with us?
Well, he was performing as the feature performer at 9 o'clock at the Jimmy Simpson Park, part of the Beaches Jazz Festival. He was headlining, and who introduced him but the new mayor, Olivia Chow. And then of course I got a selfie with her. Very, very nice lady, and she's a big fan of Lazo. So Lazo is it's performing today for all the viewers in London, Ontario, at the Sunshine Festival at 6 o'clock tonight. He did 4 in the last 3 days. He did 4 shows altogether. He drove from London, Ontario yesterday. It was featured there in the afternoon, down to Toronto. Now he's back out in London. So this
hardworking man. No wonder he's successful.
And he's got to be my age at least. But he's all over the stage. My friend that was with me was like, how does this guy keep up? He's amazing. So Lazo also played with the Wailers. He replaced Bob Marley. He did a tour through South America. Great Bob Marley tribute he does. But he has 14 albums of his own, and he's a Juno Award-winning performer.
So let's go before we run out of time, because we have about 9 minutes left. Here is Lazo on your Sunshine, Caribbean Sunshine.
We're on the beat with Tony Maroney here on Caribbean Sunshine, and we have Lazo with us. We're going to ask him a few questions about your previous recordings, your upcoming album.
My awards, I guess, too. My awards, Juno Awards, and top reggae performer, and all this stuff. Eh? We're at the Beaches Jazz Festival.
Yeah. Okay. So, Lazo.
Yes.
Okay. So, you've been performing for how many years is it now?
Since I know myself, I've been performing. It's over 30 years, 35 years. Been in the business a long time.
30 years. And how many albums have you produced?
I could hardly count. I think it's about 12 full-length albums thus far. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I remember doing a music video with you.
I think this was my second album you did a video for, way back in the days.
Back. Yeah, it was kind of a theme of a Humphrey Bogart film.
Exactly.
Yeah, we shot it at Oshawa Airport.
I think it was called Mystery Love, eh? Mystery Love. That was the title.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, we're at the Beaches Jazz Festival, and you're the headliner here tonight.
Tonight, yeah, luckily, yeah. It's going to be fun.
And you were just performing in London, Ontario earlier this afternoon.
Actually, last night I performed at the Blue Mountain Resort, very late. And then this morning, early at noon today, we did the Sun Fest in London. It's a big festival. And then we're here tonight at the Jazz Fest. And tomorrow we're back again down in Sun Fest at 6 p.m. tomorrow night in London, Ontario again.
Whoa, when did you get a break?
I know. But now is the time, you know what they say? You got to strike when the iron is hot. So that's what we're doing now, you know?
And you've really become hot in this summer.
Yeah, I got to give thanks to God for that, you know? So everything is working all fine, you know?
And you're originally from?
The Caribbean island of Dominica. Island of 365 rivers and the boiling lakes and all that sulfur springs. Beautiful island. Dominica. Not Dominican Republic. No, Dominica. Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, we've been speaking to Lazo. Any new things coming up?
Well, actually, I just did a new album last year, and I'll be going to the studio again very soon, as soon as the tour is over, because this summer is quite busy. So it's very difficult to get to the studio now. But as soon as the summer is over, I'll be back in the studio working on the I think number 13 or 14 album, something like that.
Well, can we? And you also do the Bob Marley tribute.
Exactly. After Bob Marley died, many years after he died, I did the lead vocals for the band with Ashton Barrett, was Bob Marley's bass player, and Peter Tosh's keyboard player, Keith Sterling. I toured with them all through the US, all through South America, as a member of Bob Marley's Wailers. Yeah. So that was very fun. That was a lot of fun, actually.
Do you remember the bass player having a Fender Squier bass at all?
I thought he had a Fender Jazz.
Well, he had a Squier. A friend of mine has the neck of his Squier guitar.
Really?
And he gave it to me.
Oh.
He'll be coming here tonight. He wants to come and see you.
Is that right? Oh, I'm looking forward to meet him then. Wonderful. Yeah, Ashton Barrett, a great bass player. Yeah, great bass player. Yeah.
Okay, well, we've been speaking to Lazo here at the Jazz Festival. And you've got to go up and do your sound check.
Yeah, I'm going to go do a sound check now. I'm sorry we're in a rush, but it was a pleasure talking to you.
We'll put your videos on. Actually, the link. You're on YouTube.
I'm on YouTube.
With an hour and a half video live.
Exactly. Lazo Finn, Lazofinn. And hopefully you could put a few clips of the show tonight on there too.
Oh, we're going to be filming the whole show you do here.
All right.
Okay.
So Tone, nice talking to you, and God bless you. See you in the whirlwind.
Okay.
All right.
No more man, no cry.
No woman, no cry.
Said I remember when we used to sit in the government yard in Trenchtown. Hubba observing the hypocrites as they would mingle with the good people with me. Good friends we have, good friends we lose along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say. No woman now cry. No woman no cry. Dear darling, don't shed no tears. No woman no cry. Said I remember when we used to sit. It was in a government yard in Trenchtown. And then Georgie would make the firelight as it was love would burn through the night. And we would drink cold milk porridge, of which I'll share with you. said I gotta push on through, but while I'm gone, everything.
Beautiful indeed. Congratulations, Lazaro. Of course, Tony, thank you for bringing that for us. Tony, we have to say our goodbyes now. Coming up, we have that from the silver screen, Hindi films about to start at 1. Do join us. Thank you for watching. Akua, thank you. Himraj, thanks for dropping by. Tony, until next week, what do you have anything working on?
There's the Jazz Festival next week. It's a soca festival at the Woodbine Park. So that's...
Okay, so you never know what he will be bringing us. Until next time, thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.
छुपाऊंगा सबको बताऊंगा तुझको कसम से मैं अपना बनाऊंगा तू है सनम मेरा प्यार मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक तू है सनम मेरा प्यार मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक अपना छुपाऊंगा सबको बताऊंगा तुझको कसम से मैं अपना बनाऊंगा तू है सनम मेरा प्यार मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक तू है सनम मेरा प्यार मेरा दिल तेरा आशिक एक लड़का एक लड़की थी एक दूजे पे मरते थे राज वफा बदलाने से वो दोनों तो डरते थे पागल दिल ना माना बन ही गया अफसाना होने लगी मुलाकातें भूल गई सारी बातें ऐसे न जाऊंगा मस्ती लुटाऊंगा कालों से तेरे मैं लाली चुरा